What is going on, guys? It has been a minute since I've been back on YouTube. About 3 years ago, actually. It's been that long. I competed in call-out, and unfortunately in my second round I ended up tearing my left pec tendon performing a front flip regrab. I just didn't tuck my legs enough, hit my left heel on the bar, grabbed with my left hand, missed with my right, and it just twisted and tore off right there. In Brooklyn, or just in New York in general, their medical systems there are super slow. I ended up waiting about 4 hours in the waiting room before I was even seen with a detached tendon, and once they saw me, they just poked and jabbed at me and didn't do anything, and I had to fly back to Florida because that's where I was staying to actually get my surgery done. Now I got that surgery done. So as you can see, I got my arm back, and if you follow me on Instagram, you also see, I'm back and doing handstands, doing planche, doing everything again, just getting back into the rhythm of things and just getting my strength up. When I injured myself, it was almost like having a baby arm and then having to come back and build up that strength again. But I'm lucky just to have it be just a pec tendon tear. I say it like it's nothing, but pec tendon tears, they are one of the hardest and most painful tendon tears to come back from. I'm just grateful that I have this second chance to be an athlete again and motivate and inspire you guys to show you that bad things can happen. You have the decision to either stop what you're doing, choose a different path, or you can pick yourself back up, tell yourself, yeah, you know what, it's gonna be hard. It's gonna be a little bit of a long road to come back, especially with freestyle. But it's that challenge. I think for me, personally on my journey, for those of you that are religious, I definitely found God in my journey. I saw it more as a test to think, you know what, I think this is a test from God to see how strong my will is within who I believe that I am. I started to look at it more in the sense of, okay, well, if this is a test from God, I can pass this test. I can become better. I can heal myself. I can work hard. I can keep a positive mindset. And the craziest thing happened. It was as soon as I thought of this injury in that sense, that it was a test from God, that, you know what? I can do it. I can do it, and I'm going to do it. Not just for myself, but for all of you guys, because I know that going through something like this is not just supposed to be for myself, but it's supposed to be able to motivate you guys to know that any challenges that come your way, you can overcome them. You have to know that God is just challenging you to see if you really can put your money where your mouth is. And when you pass those tests, you will be rewarded, and you'll become a better person than you were before that challenge arrived into your life. I looked up at the sky, said thank you to God, and my mindset just changed. It was completely different, and it only took me 2 weeks, and then once the 2 weeks passed, where I was kind of down about the whole injury, I pulled myself out of it, and I was never down ever since that moment. I said everything was positive beyond that point, and now I'm grateful because ever since I made my mindset and I did that, I knew it was a test from God. I've made myself a better person. I've learned a lot more about myself. I've just pushed even harder to be the best person I can be today. And that's not just for myself, like I said, it's for all of you guys to show you that anything is truly possible. You just have to know that you're capable of achieving amazing things. And you just have to believe in yourself and know that God is always with you, and He wants the best for you, even though He puts challenges in front of you. It's to make you a better person. Now, I don't want to say it was easy, as in, oh, all my recovery was easy, and everything I do now is just easy. No, it's a challenge, but at the same time, knowing that it is a test from God, I felt whole again. I felt whole that it's really, He's with me. I can push forward and I can do this, and I can use it as a motivation and an inspiration. I do believe that everyone is faced with tests, but I do believe if you believe in God, that He will put a positive impact within your life and within your brain, your soul, and make you push forward. And so that's exactly what I carried with me, thinking, wow, thank you. Thank you for giving me this injury. Thank you for challenging me in a way that I wasn't even considering this would be a reality for me. So thank you for putting this in front of me to actually show me myself and my true worth and who I am as a person. This injury really actually connected me a lot more to God on the path to a higher power, because I believe without that you're not able to achieve great things. What I'm trying to say for all of you guys out there, I'm not sure where everyone else is with their religious path. I definitely believe that these tests, everyone is faced with them, and you have the decision whether or not you want to face them or let them overcome you. People expect everything just to get handed to them in a way that is easy. And with God, God faces you with challenges. He faces you with hard times. And the reason why he does that is because he wants you to become a better person. He wants you to challenge yourself to become a better person that he knows that you can be. And so that's really what helped me get over my injury. And now I have my arm back again, and I'm actually stronger than I was before I had my injury. I'm a better person than before I had my injury, and I've learned a lot of value in certain things that were outside of calisthenics, and all thanks to God. And he challenged me with something that he knew I could overcome. This injury to a lot of people would probably be the most detrimental thing that could ever happen to somebody, but for me, I am actually so grateful that it happened to me, because it made me into the person I am today. But I really wanted to hop back on here and just talk more about my story, like my journey, how I even got started with freestyle calisthenics, how I even found out about it 6 years ago, really, what drew me towards it, and the people that I met, and how amazing the community is, and just everything about it, really changed my life for the better, despite the injury. But I think the harder that you fall, the more that you can bounce back. Like I said before, I'm just trying to use my injury to show you guys that you're unstoppable. You can do whatever you want to do in this life. Even if you get in an accident, you have that choice whether or not you want to try to get better from that accident, or you just want to sit on the couch and eat popcorn and not do anything about it and just make everyone else around you miserable, when that doesn't have to be the case. You can always get back up and you can do what you need to do to make your life better. And so really, starting from day one, back when I started doing calisthenics, when I really found out what this sport even was becoming to be what it is today, I was about 17. I had a group of friends that back in high school, we were kind of getting into the parkour scene with YouTube videos showing people doing flips and human flags off buildings and planches off buildings. At the time when I was watching the videos, I was more intrigued with flips and the spins, and so I took about 2 years doing parkour and tricking just to learn how to do a front flip, side flip, back flip, all the basic flips. Kind of got into a little bit of twisting, but what really got me was free climbing. I love free climbing. I'm a thrill seeker. Things like that, they don't scare me. I love it. It's who I am. And I know a lot of you guys also love to do that kind of stuff. Puts you on the edge of life a little bit. You never know what's gonna happen, but you get that adrenaline that makes you just feel alive. That's what I love. And that's kind of what drew me towards parkour. But the more and more I watched YouTube videos of parkour, and I was kind of intrigued with that strength portion. But at the time when I was doing parkour, when I was 15, 16, I never really worked out. I was just some skinny kid. I was athletic, but I never really forced myself to get into the weight room. I never really forced myself to work out or have a regimen. I just wanted to do what was fun. I'm sure like plenty of other people. Eventually, my dad, props to my dad, he was like, you want to go work out? You want to go hit the gym? He started to go to the gym, and eventually he brought me along. And my dad got really into weightlifting, was becoming massive, and it was really inspiring to me because we did start about the same time. But eventually I did weightlifting for maybe like a month. I was like, hey, I really like parkour, I really like tricking, and calisthenics is more body weight. So I just started to challenge myself, and I was like, hey, you know what, I like this sport because I grew up playing basketball, and you obviously you have a team, and they always teach you you're only as strong as the weakest person on the team. Sometimes obviously there's favoritism. If you're one of those kids kids that doesn't get the ball all the time, or you're not as good. You don't feel like you're a part of what you're actually doing, even though you're putting in that work, you're training super hard, and you win, you lose, you lose. But I think what really intrigued me to freestyle calisthenics was that it was an individual sport. It was, hey, if you work really hard at this sport, you're gonna get what you put in. And so that really intrigued me, because I was like, hey, well, if I go to the gym every single day, and if I work out and I have a really healthy diet, and if I do what I know I can do and just push myself, push my limits, push my fear factor and everything, just to learn certain dynamics and everything, I was like, you know, I could be very good at this. And me being me, I'm a very competitive person. I really strive to be as great as I can be. I know that especially a few of the athletes that I've met are the same way. And I think that's what really makes me love this sport, is because as much as there's competition, there's also that love for everyone else that's in this sport that does it. You get to be the best person you can be. And that's kind of what really brought me towards it. So back to when I was starting to train, after about that month of doing weight training, I started to do more calisthenics, and I started with my foundations, and I started with pull-ups, chin-ups, dips, push-ups. I didn't really get into any skills because I just was not strong enough to really do that stuff. Of course, I obviously tried like anyone else would, but if you haven't tried yourself and you try today, or you try after this video and try to do like a handstand or a front lever, a back lever, a planche, you'll find out really fast that they're not easy things to do. It takes a lot of time, takes a lot of practice, takes a lot of skill, technique, trial and error. And one thing that I would caution everyone else out there is, when you try to do calisthenics and when you try to do certain skills in freestyle calisthenics, just enjoy the process, because whether you realize it or not, everyone else that is in this sport has gone through all of these steps of just trying to kick up into a handstand and falling over and hitting their back, hitting their side, or trying to lean into a planche. You know, they can barely even lean into a planche. And it's those things as a beginner that are kind of frustrating, but if you have the right attitude, you can go a long way. But yeah, so I started with my foundations. I did that for, I would say, 8 months to a year. I did basic stuff, no skill training. And after that year, I actually went to my first competition. I went to one that was in Chicago and met a lot of amazing people there, and it really inspired me to start doing freestyle. When I went back, you know, after that competition, for anybody that's been to a competition and have seen professional athletes compete, such as myself or anyone else, it's extremely motivating just to see that right in front of you, and you want to go back and just to try to do everything you can do. So I went back to my home state, Minnesota, and I just went to my main gym and worked super hard to get all of these skills. So when I think my first 2 skills that I got were back lever and handstand. The handstand, surprisingly, actually took me like maybe 4 or 5 months to actually achieve a handstand. And I say a handstand because it was like bent arm type handstand, but like I could hold it, but it wasn't, oh my gosh, like that's an amazing handstand, but I was doing it. And I think for everyone that's done this sport and have been at that stage as a beginner, like getting their first few skills, it's like a great feeling, because it's like you know that your work is starting to go somewhere a little bit, even though you're falling over a whole bunch and you're doing all of these attempts that feel like they're just trash. But really, all of those trash attempts, keep in mind, you do have to keep good technique and replay what you're doing in your head and understand what you're doing right, what you're doing wrong, and how you can go about making the next attempt better. But for any of those people that have really done that, they do know that feeling within themselves that it's just like, let's go, I freaking did it. And so, yeah, so that's really what started to just, once I got those first few skills, you just kind of feel awesome. Feel like, okay, I'm starting to get it a little bit. I'm starting to get it down. And that's what really brought me to want to keep doing freestyle calisthenics. And high school years, I kept doing that. Fast forward, then graduating high school. Once I graduated high school in Minnesota, I always had the aspirations to go to California, because that's kind of more where the sport started to blossom in like the coastal states. More so in California though, with videos on Instagram from Santa Monica Beach and the famous Santa Monica bar. Now everyone goes to Venice Beach. If you're in that area, definitely go to Venice Beach, use those bars. Definitely gonna have a good time with those. Really though, I went out there because there was a gym at the time over in Clovis. It's actually like right outside of Fresno in California. It's more inland. There was a gym there called the Playground Gym, and there was a ton of really awesome people that went to that gym that were in Freestyle Calisthenics, and I made a lot of friends and, you know, leveled up a lot there. You know, it was just a really good place with a lot of good energy. Unfortunately, the owner of that gym passed a couple of years ago. His name was Lamont. Super awesome guy. He was very genuine and just one of the best for everyone that went there, and also for everyone that was in schools. He tried to bring a lot of fitness out to a lot of people. Pay my respects to Lamont. Thank you for opening such an amazing gym, such an amazing group of people, and allowing everyone there to just have a really awesome environment and level up, push everyone to their limits. So I was living in California, one for a year, then I actually moved back to Minnesota for a bit, and then I moved back to California, got a place there, and I stayed out there for about 2 years, just doing as much as I could as an athlete, just training every single day. I worked a painting job at that time. Yeah, so I was painting. The second I got off of that, I was just back to training as much as I could, going to Venice Beach, training out there with some more athletes. Yeah, I did that for about 2 years, and when I was out there, I had the opportunity to compete in a few more competitions. One competition out there actually with J-Bay. He is an athlete, very good guy. He threw a competition, and I actually ended up winning that competition, first place in a tournament bracket style. So that was super awesome. It gave me a lot of motivation to keep performing as an athlete, to compete in a few more competitions. I went to 2 more Battle of the Bars competitions, which is the WC organization battles. The first one that I went to, you know, I was genuinely super excited, but I had some nerves running through me, and so I unfortunately didn't make it past my first battle. But it was an awesome experience, and you know, when you do get into battling and when you do get into competing, everyone's a little bit different. But at the end of the day, it's just, even when you have those nerves, even when you are a little scared to compete and you have all these people watching you and you don't want to have that pressure of messing up, for all of you that are nervous to, you know, kind of get out of your comfort zone and do something like that, just know once you do it and once you actually allow yourself to face those fears, you come out as a better person at the end of it. And then the more you do it, the better you get at it, and it makes you just a better person in the end, because you gain a lot more confidence within yourself, and you gain a lot more of knowing what your actual ability is and how to push it further for the next time. I went into my second Battle of the Bars competition, where it was in San Diego. I ended up winning my first round against Jay Street Workout. He's from Hong Kong, really good athlete. It was an honor to face him in San Diego. And then my second round was against Tiago Tavares. If you know that, who that is, very awesome dude. He is an insane athlete. So props to Tiago for just, you know, still going. He's like I think he's around like 35, 36. So props to him. But I did end up losing that battle to him back in San Diego. Just grateful again to have the experience to push my limits and push myself to, you know, levels that I didn't know were achievable. So past that, you know, gaining more and more motivation. I had another few more competitions, one back in Memphis for controlled movements. I actually took first place tournament bracket, and it ended up being my birthday actually when I won that whole tournament. So it was a really awesome day for myself, and you know, winning that on my birthday was kind of felt unreal. But it just goes to show, like, you know, you can go to certain battles or certain competitions, and you know, sometimes you don't come out on first place in a few of them, and then if you just keep working really hard and pushing your limits, that getting that first place is definitely achievable, and really do anything you set your mind to. The third Battle of the Bars competition, I was competing in LA, and I won all of my battles up to the final round. And I was actually, for the people that don't know, when I was competing, I was sick the entire time with a fever. I ended up getting all the way to the last round. I went against Small Bar Sparta, or had that battle, got all the way to the finals, and I ended up losing the final. It would have brought me to Dubai. But you know, I'm just grateful that I was there. I forced myself to compete even though I was sick. I still did the best I could. So I'm just grateful that I did that for myself, despite, you know, the reward at the end. Moving forward, I've also competed in competition in Canada. It was actually in Quebec. Very unique experience, we'll say the least. It was fun with a lot of amazing people around. You know, just being in those types of environments at a competition, there's like no better energy than a whole bunch of different people with the same mindset, because they just want to better themselves. They want to better health, wellness, their strength, their skills, and everyone coming in with that same mindset of just becoming better is very motivating. And you know, like I said before, with the community being what it is, it just makes you keep wanting to come back, you know, and everyone, even though they're in competition and they're always pushing to be better and better and better, and you're in battles against certain people, everyone, you know, has that good friendship around the whole thing. And I think that's really what is super cool about this sport and made me keep coming back. And then going back into California. So I lived in California for about 2 years. I ended up leaving California. So I stayed in California for about 2 years, competing, training very hard with multiple competitions, and just meeting as many people as I could that, you know, I couldn't do back in, obviously, Minnesota, where I grew up. That was just a really awesome experience, getting to travel and meeting people that I never actually thought I would meet, and you know, people I saw on YouTube, and getting to meet them in person, actually becoming like friends with them and acquaintances with them, and just knowing that I am who I am, and now they respect me, but it's like I respect them because they put in the work that they put in, and I put in the work that I put in, and they, you know, and you respect that about each other. It's a really cool thing. So it's like, for all the beginners out there, when you see these athletes that are performing at a professional level, just know all of these professionals started as beginners, and genuinely, the harder you work and the more that you put in, the more that all of these professionals are gonna respect you in the end, because you're putting in the same amount of work, if not more work at this point, because the level keeps going up and up and up to outperform those professionals. So it's like, at the end of the day, don't be too hard on yourself, because just know everyone's been through the same thing. But yeah, so I lived in California for 2 years, and then I moved to Tennessee for about, maybe we'll say like half a year or so. I don't remember the exact time and dates, but after that I went back to Minnesota, my home state, for about a year and a half, 2 years, and then took a vacation out to Florida and met with one of my good friends, Johan, and we had a blast together out there. And he was like, yo, you want to move to Florida? And I was like, hey, why not? I ended up moving out to Florida, staying with him for a little while, and just training really hard and meeting as many people as I could. And I think that's like one of the things I gotta say to everyone else that's afraid to get themselves out there, is really, you have to be confident within yourself to just go and meet new people, because you never know what that person is actually genuinely like until you meet them in person and you get to talk to them. Because there's some people that, you know, you see their face on a camera and they act like one thing, and they are completely different in person. So I think, you know, don't idolize people in a way that you see them as something that's just better than yourself, because I can tell you now, I've definitely met those types of people. They cut you down, they try to discourage you. Just don't be one of those people, because there's a lot of people in this world that work their ass off to try to do these types of things. And when you're somebody that just cuts somebody down and tries to make them feel like a fool for working hard, it's actually more embarrassing for that person that's actually saying all those things. And to bring it back to that point, no one really knows what anyone's really genuinely going through in their life. If you are giving a harsh behavior to somebody that you look up to, if say someone looks up to me and I'm rude to them, that is uncalled for. That is not okay. And because I don't know what they've been through, and you don't know what I've been through, but at the end of the day, we have to be nice to everybody, because if you're not just a nice, genuine person, you could be destroying somebody's dreams. You could be hurting somebody to a point where it actually, it hurts them. Fast forwarding, I now live in Arizona. I've been here for about a year, about a year now. But you know, it's hot out here. I'm still training very hard, getting ready for competition season and getting back into competition. So I'm looking forward to seeing everybody again. I'm looking forward to, you know, getting to compete against amazing athletes again. I'm ready just to be able to be myself again. And it's a really good time for that if you're a beginner in this sport, to start training, you know, just start doing more with, you know, trying to get your health and fitness better and be something more, you know, challenge yourself. But for me personally, like I said, I'm out in Arizona now and I like it out here. It's freaking hot, but right now it's winter, so it's actually like perfect out. So pretty happy about that. But I definitely plan on creating more YouTube videos. I don't think I will have another YouTube video up though until January, the beginning of January, just because of the holidays. But just know I do plan on posting a lot more on my Instagram. All of my social media accounts are the same thing, Alex Williams _SW. And so if you want to subscribe to my YouTube, follow me on Instagram, follow me on TikTok, I will be uploading a lot more frequently on those and doing shorts and doing videos there. If you are looking for motivation, inspiration, just staying up to date with myself, I would really appreciate that. And just all the support that you guys give me, just know I'm looking to give it right back to you guys. And so thank you for listening to my story. I know that it was kind of a lengthy video and I summed up a lot of parts, but you know, hey, I'm grateful for everything that I've been through. I hope that this motivated you. I hope that this inspired you to just start something. And don't be discouraged, and don't feel like, oh, I'll never be on his level, or I'll never be on her level, or anything like that, you know, because all of these people, they start as a beginner and they work their way up just like myself. And so, you know, stay true to who you are. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.